Live? I think we might be live. Hello. So can anybody hear me? If anybody is watching right now and can hear me, let me know. Leave a comment. You can leave a comment in the YouTube chat or leave a comment on Level Up English, and I'll do my best to check while we talk. But thank you for joining me. So this is a brand new series that I'm starting, and hopefully it's going to be a recurring series every Sunday. I haven't set the time yet, but hopefully every Sunday morning, if that's a good time. And I'm going to set a timer on my phone now for 20 minutes because this is going to be a 20-minute quick lesson. As with everything, or as with many things that I do, it's going to be kind of an experiment. It might go really well, it might go really badly. So join me and let's find out. We've got Lily in the chat, so welcome Lily. I'm glad you could join me today. And anyone else, feel free to leave a comment and let me know who you are and where you're watching from today, this morning for me. So I hope you all had a nice weekend. Today, we're going to be learning about conditionals. Conditionals. I'm going to try to cram a lot of information into this 20 minutes. So conditionals are words that use if, not words, sentences that use if or when. Hi Mohammed, or my Mohammed. I'm happy that you could be here as well. So what I'm going to do now is I've got a very simple PowerPoint. So I'm going to transition over here and you should see my PowerPoint that I've made. And you've got the title conditionals. So as I was saying, these are sentences that use if or sometimes when at the beginning. There are 4 types of conditionals altogether, and they can be a little bit confusing. There's quite a lot to remember, but they're really, really important because we use them in everyday English. And if you get them wrong, it can sometimes change the meaning of your sentence. So that can be the tricky part. So what I thought we could do is review the 4 types of conditionals, give some examples, and hopefully we'll have some time for practice at the end. So whether you are watching on YouTube or if you're watching on the Level Up English website, then this is a really good chance to leave a comment. So while we're learning, leave your practice comments below wherever you are. And at the end of this short lesson, I will review your comments and see how well you've done. I can mark your homework, so to speak. Okay. So the first kind of conditional is called the zero conditional. This is the easiest conditional, and it talks about the present tense. In other words, it talks about things that are always true. Yeah, so it's things that are always true, the past, the present, or the future. It's just generally true. I'll give you an example. By the way, if there are any problems with the audio or you can't see the screen, let me know now and I will try to fix it before we get into it. So what I'll do, I'll tell you why or how they are used, give you the structure, and then look at some examples. And this is all off the cuff, which means I'm not using any notes, it's just all from my head. So I might have to think about it at some points, but hopefully I can remember. So for this one, we just simply say if or when plus present tense. Then we have the comma. Then we have another present tense. So the structure is fairly simple. And an example, let's move this down, would be if it rains, I get wet. So see, we've got the if, we've got rains, which is present tense, get, which is present tense. So it really just kind of means anytime. It doesn't matter if it happens in the past. It doesn't matter if it happens in the future. I will always get wet if it rains. It's a general truth. So let's do one more example here. I'm going to keep checking the timer. We've had 5 minutes so far. That's pretty good. We could say, let's say when this time. We sometimes say when, but not always. When is more like for, what could we say? When means like it will, the events that we're talking about will definitely happen at some point. If it rains, means, maybe it will not rain. But when it rains, means, it will definitely rain at some point. So maybe for the rain example, when is more appropriate, because of course it will rain. It's not going to be sunny for the next 100 years, hopefully. So when I go out, I always get or catch a cold. So when I go out, I always catch a cold. Very unlucky. And see, we've got present tense and present tense, so it means it happens anytime. The time does not matter. It's a general truth. So, yeah, there's that one. I think that's a pretty good basic review. So now we're going to move on from zero conditional, but leave your example comments in the, wherever, and I'll have a quick look. I can see we've got one from My Mohammed, and they said, if we put snow in the water, it melts. That's perfect. Well done, well done. I can write that one here too. If we put snow in the water, it melts. Yeah, definitely. I'm hoping we have snow this year. That would be nice. Yeah, very good example. As I said, I'll check more examples at the end. So even if you're going to write them now, I'll come back later to check. Okay, I've got to be quick now. So first conditional. This one, let me check how I did it before. Yeah. So this one talks about future. Future. Well, yeah, let's just put future. So the better description would be, talks about things that are likely to happen in the future. So likely, that's the key word. Probably will happen. And we do use the word will to talk about this. So the structure here would be, let me remember, if plus present tense, then a comma, plus future with will. Usually with will. We probably can use other modal verbs, but we'll keep it simple today and say will. I'll come to that later, actually. I'll tell you that later. So let's look at an example here. I like to think about exams. If I study hard, I will pass the exam. So the structure is just the same as zero. We just added a will. And that will changes it from a general truth to talk about the future. But this means like, I think I'm likely to pass. Or I think I'm likely to study hard. If I study hard, I will pass the exam. I'm quite optimistic about that. I'll put a common mistake down below. This is what I was going to mention before. I don't want it blue. If I will study hard, I pass. This is, can I cross it out? So this is a really common mistake, but the rule here is, never put will in the if part of the sentence. So that's a really good thing to remember, is we never put if and will together, never. I'm just going to keep that at the bottom there. Let's do one more example, something that could happen in the future. likely to happen. If it is sunny today, which I think it is looking outside, I will go for a stroll. Stroll means like a walk, casual walk. So any examples coming in here? Another one from my Mohammed. If I meet you, I will be so happy. Yes, perfect. I will be happy to meet you too. If I meet you, I will be so happy. That's really good. So well done. And thank yous, well, not thank you, but welcome, Zara. I hope I pronounced your name okay. I'm glad you could be here as well. So there, we've got first conditional. We're going through very quickly, but now let's go to second conditional. Second conditional also talks about the future. It's very similar to first conditional. The structure is as follows. We're going to say, no, before we talk about structure, why we use it. Talks about the future. Talks about things that are unlikely to happen in the future. So remember, first conditional was likely to happen. Second is unlikely to happen. So they're very similar, but the structure is a bit harder. So again, we'll say if, then we'll say past simple tense, then the comma. Then we say would. So again, this is off the cuff, so I have to remember myself. For example, if I studied harder, I could, so we could say would, could, or might. And then the rest of the sentence. So the reason we say would, could, or might is because these are the past tense modal verbs. Would is the past of will, could is the past of can, might is the past of may. So this is all about using past tense, and I'm going to explain that a little bit more in a minute. One example, if I studied harder, I would pass the exam. So see, it's similar to first, but we changed studied to past, and we changed will to would. Another important note, which I'm going to put below, is even though we use past simple tense, we are talking about the future. So this is very confusing, but we have to forget, in this case, that past simple is about the past. We're using the past, but we're talking about the future. The past tense just gives the effect that it is less likely to happen. It's much less likely to happen. So probably an easier example would be if aliens invaded Earth, I would be scared. Yeah, I would be scared. I'm using second conditional because I don't think it's likely. I don't think that aliens will invade Earth. So I'm not going to use will. I'm not going to use first. If, however, you really believe in aliens and you think they are coming, then you would use first conditional. If aliens invade, I will be scared. So depending on whether you use first or second conditional, that kind of tells people how strongly you think something is going to happen, how likely you think it is. So it's really useful to understand those two and be able to use them correctly to kind of tell people the probability of what's going to happen. Another example here, if I played under the rain, I would be ill. Okay. So we would say if I played in the rain, in is a bit more natural than under, I would be ill. So that's perfect. If I played in the rain, I would be ill. But that means you probably will not play in the rain. You think it's not going to happen. You're not going to play in the rain. Okay. I have about 5 minutes to finish this explanation. So let's go to the hardest one, third conditional, which talks about the past. So, what could we say here? This talks about, how could I say? This talks about past, well, let's say it talks about hypothetical things from the past, but it's too late to change. Hypothetical just means kind of imaginary. It's not really happening. It's not a real thing. It's just maybe. What if? What if? So we can use, this is the hardest one. That might take a second to remember. If plus past perfect tense, comma, plus would, could, might, plus have. So it's like kind of like present perfect. And then past participle verb. This is the longest one, very confusing. But let's look at an example to make it more clear. If I had, let's use the example again. If I had studied harder, that's past perfect. If I had studied is past perfect tense, very difficult. I might have passed the exam. So we've got might here. Might means 50%. There's a 50% possibility. Then we have. So might have, would have, could have. Past is the past participle verb. In other words, that's verb 3. So like eat, ate, eaten. Eaten would be the past participle. But it's too late. I'm talking about a regret I have in the past. It's really common for regrets. So if you have any past regrets, let me know in the comments and I will let you know if they sound good. Let's do one more. If I had been, let's say, more handsome, I would have had many girlfriends in school. Yeah? So this is quite confusing, have had. But remember, we have would have, which is here. Had is simply the past participle verb of to have a girlfriend. If I had been more handsome, I would have had many girlfriends in school. But that was not the case, of course. That's pretty much it. So, I know it's a bit rushed. Maybe in the future I will not try to fit so much in to 20 minutes. But as I said, it's kind of an experiment. But let's do a quick summary. So, zero conditional, general truth. First conditional, future, but likely to happen. Second conditional, future, but unlikely to happen, but still possible. Third conditional, past. What can we say for that one? It's impossible. It's too late to happen. And do I have time to add more? Let's just put an example underneath each one. If it rains, I get wet. If it rains, I will go out. If it rained, I would go out. Finally, if it had rained, I would not. No, let's make it simple. I would have gone out. So there you can see we're using the same example. We're using the same one just with different conditionals, but the same example. So hopefully that makes it a little bit simple, a little bit easier to understand. And maybe I could just make the formatting a bit better because I'm a bit crazy. Let's just delete the title. So there we go. That's the quick summary. And that's the 4 conditionals summarized in less than 20 minutes. It's a very quick summary. Normally in a lesson, I would take 1 hour with a student to talk about one of the conditionals. There is the timer. Perfect timing, right? Normally I take 1 hour to talk about one. And today I spoke about 4 in 20 minutes. So that's very, very fast, very rushed. This is a basic overview. I'm going to be posting this review on Level Up English. So feel free to join, practice over there. And I'm going to go back to my normal face cam, if you like. Let's make me a bit bigger, like that. Okay. So I felt very rushed. My heart is racing a bit now because I was rushing through that. But let's see, any examples we've got here. So, if I had earned a lot of money, I would have traveled all over the world. That's perfect. Good job. Good job. Third conditional is like the hardest one. And you have used it perfectly. So well done in the comments. Anyone else, feel free to leave an example and I will let you know how it is. I'm also going to go over and check on the Level Up English page and see if anyone has done a good job here. So another thing to mention while this is loading is, so no comments there, but that's fine. So another thing to mention is every week, as I said, I'm going to be doing one of these lessons every week, Sunday morning. I may change the time for next week, but this is the only lesson that will be viewable on YouTube. So this one is public on YouTube. You can watch it, maybe as many of you are on YouTube. Next week and the following weeks, they will be unlisted, which means kind of private. And you can only watch them through Level Up English website. It's completely free. All you have to do is sign up. The reason for this is because I want to kind of make encourage a nice community over there. I want to kind of build up the activity on the website and kind of offer lots of new content. So hopefully that will be good. And yeah, I'd be excited if you could join me next week as well. By the way, while I'm talking, if you have any questions before we do say goodbye today, let me know and I will answer your question in the... Well, I'll answer your question now, but leave a comment with your question if you like. And what else was I going to say? It slipped my mind. But yeah, any questions, let me know. That was it. Also, if you have any requests for future lessons, let me know. You can leave a comment on this video. You can send me a message wherever you like. You can leave a comment on my website, and I will do my best to answer your request in a future Level Up English lesson. So that'll be really fun. I want to make lessons that are suitable for you and ones that you enjoy. So yeah, let me know what you want to learn and I will cover that topic in the future. I did conditionals today because I thought, yeah, it's an easy one for me to remember and also very useful. My Mohammed asks, how can I reach your website? I'll put a link. I have 2 websites. One of them is my teaching website. The other one is Level Up English. So if you go to levelupenglish.school, there is a link. There will be a course called Weekly Live Lessons. And if you click on that course, that's where you can see all of these lives every Sunday. So before I go now, do I have any final questions from anyone? Any more final comments? Otherwise, I'm going to go, and I have some lessons to get to for the rest of today. I've got a group lesson as well, so I'm looking forward to my group lesson. So thank you everyone for coming and watching today. I really appreciate your time. I think this is probably my most successful live stream I've ever done. I've had quite a few watchers as far as I can see. So thank you for coming. And no questions coming in right now, although there might be a delay. But I'm going to end it here and maybe have a snack. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. And hopefully see you next week. Bye-bye. See you